What's going on, guys? This is Bradley alongside Zach, and you are listening to the Charm City Sideline Podcast. What is up, Prime Trust? What is up, Chris? We are really excited to be here tonight, and we're going to be predicting the Ravens' regular season record, going through every single game. How are you doing, Zach?
Doing so good, dude. This is such a highly anticipated podcast every year because just for us to put it out there, that we think this is a 11, 12, 13, 14 win team, that is so much fun to break down week by week. Even though we're less than a month away, it still feels like it's freaking tomorrow, and this helps us feel like it's about to be freaking Christmas tomorrow. Like, I don't know. I'm so like, oh, this just makes me think about football a lot, and I'm so excited we get to do this tonight.
Yeah, me too. It's really exciting, and super excited to get into it. We wanted to mention to you guys that we are lucky to have reached monetization with YouTube, which means that we now do have the capability to have memberships for this channel, which means you guys can support us, help us grow even more. Shout out to Chris for becoming our first member. We really appreciate it. Also, make sure to like the video if you're watching, hit the subscribe button. We would love as much support as we can get. If you're on Twitter, if you're on Instagram, helps us a lot more if you go hop on over to YouTube, watch over there, like, subscribe. And yeah, Zach, any final thoughts before we get into this?
I feel like there's going to be some games that we really disagree on. I don't think you and me picked the same losses or the same wins by any means. There is some that we're just kind of, together on. But I think that the losses are definitely debate worthy for both of ours. So I'm excited to talk about it.
For sure. I guess we can just start, what are some of your initial thoughts just looking at this schedule? I know we did that initial schedule reaction live with Sutton from the Purple Rain podcast, and that was really fun. I mean, I guess not too much has changed from there, but, what are you looking at going into this?
It's all about how the Ravens start to me. So the very beginning being possibly the most difficult of the entire schedule is daunting to me. I'm concerned about it. The Ravens last year specifically started off so rough that now that it's probably double the quality of opponents in those first 6 weeks makes me very nervous. I think that, post bye week, Harbaugh's always been good. So no matter what, we'll get it figured out as long as the team is mostly healthy. But I think that the difficulty in the first, even if I have to go first 4 weeks, is so much. It is as rough a gauntlet as the first 6 games as you'll find. And it'll be the true test to see how well we finish for the year. I think what you'll see in my predictions is a little more harsh starting out because I get so nervous about the start of the year. So we'll see what we both think about it. But what about you? Do you think it's pretty top heavy, right?
Yeah, definitely. I remember when we were sort of revealing it to Sutton after that Lions week 3 game, we were like, are you ready for another tough game? And
he was like, oh yeah, that's already
thought we were messing with him. He thought we were messing with him. And it's week 4 Chiefs after that week 3 Lions game. So yeah, it's really tough. What's up, Andrew G? Appreciate you for being here. We both put that up at the
I was like, dude, Andrew, what's up, man?
Thanks for being here, Andrew.
That's awesome.
Hope you're good as well. Yeah, super top heavy schedule. And I guess let's get right into it. Week 1 at the Bills. They have made the Ravens do this 2 years in a row now, trying to beat the Chiefs last year.
Week 1
revenge game. Yeah, and then this year trying to beat the Bills in Buffalo, Sunday Night Football, week 1. Zach, what are your thoughts?
So, just like I mentioned, facing your demons like second year in a row off the rip, I don't necessarily have a problem with it. It's as big of a test as you're going to get to determine what your whole year is going to be like. Last year, sure, it sucked with the Chiefs. It was a heartbreaking ending. You thought, oh my gosh, we're going to win this game. 2-point happens, and it's like, nope, actually, as heartbreaking, maybe of a beginning as it was an ending to last season. So I just don't want that kind of thing to happen. If it's going to happen in this game, I guess I want it to be on our end where we finish right side up and get a win at a tough Buffalo um, opponent place. I think that Sunday night, this game has, sure, no matter what, it's week 1, it's been circled. But this is such a angry game, it feels like, for the Ravens to get started with. We're not going to be breaking down every game like this, I don't think. But I think specifically it starting as storybook as with the Bills again is so daunting and so honestly nerve-wracking. If the Ravens go out there and completely crap the bed, I think especially with how the last few years have started with a rough, first 4 weeks really, it's scary to me. And sadly, I think that the Ravens do tend to put out at the beginning. And I'm not gonna lie, I picked a loss. At Buffalo, it seems like a tough test. And I just think that Buffalo is a really quality opponent. I'm starting us off on a rough freaking spot. And I think we lose to the Bills because I just don't think that this team really gets going as fast as we hope, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's good to not, peak, at the very beginning of the year, especially against, 6 quality opponents. Figure yourself out over the year. But for me, it's not a pretty start. It's a loss at Buffalo week 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna say the Ravens win this one. It's definitely probably one of the ones I thought about the most in terms of deciding between W or L.
Mm.
I think the Ravens have definitely a better roster than the Bills do. I think you probably agree with me.
Yeah.
Um,
You could
and just
probably say that about every week though, right?
yeah,
Probably.
besides maybe the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs have a really good team. Their defense is
Really
very
good
good.
roster? I don't know.
I think the Chiefs have a really good roster.
I would think the
Anyway,
Lions have a better roster, but still.
Anyway, I think the Ravens are going to think back to we barely lost to this team and we had 3 turnovers. And that's a good comment. Josh Allen averages 150 passing yards each time he plays. It is true. He's never gone off against the Ravens. Wow. It has never happened. I think the Ravens are going to hold on to the ball. However, I do see your point. Like maybe the Ravens are a little too amped up going into this one and they have turnovers once again. But I think that's not going to happen. I think they're going to win the game. And obviously we're not doing score predictions, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's, 10 points, 13 points.
Wow.
I think the Ravens should win this game, and I think they will. So 1-0 for me, 0-1.
Yeah. Week 2 takes us home opener against the Browns. 12 o'clock CBS. This is just so we weren't very high on the Browns, even in our AFC North preview. But I think that the Browns are just a lost team. It doesn't seem like they have an obvious starting quarterback right now. Everything with Shedeur getting injured too. Nothing really seems in stone for them. And I just think that Cleveland has a rough start to the year as well. And I think it doesn't really start well if you're going. I think it's at Bengals, at Ravens to start. And I think that's just pretty rough for them. It might be at home, but still 2 tough division opponents to start the year. I don't think they win this. I think the Ravens take it. And so, in my opinion, if this is a loss to the Buffalo Bills week 1, then week 2, it can be a bounce back opportunity. The only thing is, if they're still starting somewhat slow, I think that you maybe squeak this one out. You could blow them out, but it is a gritty Browns team that you have to put away. And especially in a beginning of the year where everything's on the table, right? There's no obvious number 1 clear-cut team. So everyone's still fighting to be involved, and I think the Browns still give it their best shot. But I have the Ravens taking it.
Yeah, this is a situation very, very similar to last year where revenge game week 1, playing one of the worst teams in the league week 2. Last year, they went 0-2. I'm going to have them going 2-0 in this one. The Browns are probably the second worst team in the league besides the Saints. The Browns may have better quarterback options than the Saints do, to be honest. I think they definitely do, actually.
Hmm.
But and we talked about the Browns defense probably going to be at least an average unit. I have to address this comment from Andrew. Yeah, I actually meant to say this in the intro. Andrew says, "Thank you guys for doing a different topic. Sick of the filet in Cleveland." Yeah, like it feels good, Zach, to sort of get away from arguing
Ugh.
about the one weak spot on the Ravens roster that Ben Cleveland isn't much better than Daniel Falele anyway. So we're
And
not
so,
going to
but
spend it.
I know, but I at least want to mention it. I definitely think it's worth noting because everyone else has to talk about it. I love what they were talking about on the Ravens Collective. Jeff Zuribic was talking about how much the team believes in Falele and the team just knows what they have in Cleveland. That's all I'm going to leave to it. I thought that made the most sense. I haven't necessarily been a Falele truther, but I think that I thought he was a capable starter. I think that everything he does is under a microscope pretty badly right now.
Yeah.
So that's all I can. The poor guy is really being nitpicked.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully Andrew's still with us. What's up, 44 Money Boy?
What's up?
Appreciate you for being here. Yeah, back to the Browns. I guess you could say blowout win, but like this could be one of those games where the Ravens win 24-20 after a emotional close win over the Bills possibly. But I do have the Ravens at 2-0. Zach has the Ravens at 1-1. And that takes us to week 3 versus the Lions in Baltimore. Monday Night Football, the Ravens' second primetime game in 3 weeks. I do think the Lions are in for a little bit of a regressment this year. Is that a word? Did I say that right? Losing Frank Ragnow, maybe the best center in the league, is really tough. Losing both their coordinators, we saw that happen to the Eagles a few years ago. I'm not saying the Lions are going to go 7-10, but I think the Ravens can win this game. I think the Ravens play exceptionally well at home in prime time, especially Lamar Jackson on Monday Night Football. I don't know what it is about ESPN or Buck and Aikman that Lamar loves so much, but he's never played a bad game on ESPN that I can remember. So I do sound maybe a little biased here, having them go 3-0, Bills, Browns,
that's
Lions.
bold of you.
But I seriously think the Ravens are better than these teams. So I'm going to go with a win over the Lions. I have the Ravens at 3-0 right now.
Wow. Okay, well, as you're the positive energy, if you're good cop, I'm bad cop. Because we do have a quick comment here from Andrew. The one thing I would say is you guys were really good with your draft analysis. Nick Gordon, Craig Zabel, Marcus Bowe. Yeah,
Marcus Bowe looks amazing on the Giants.
I loved talking about the draft stuff. And honestly, a couple other of the late round kind of flyers that we mentioned even getting a little love in the NFL. But yeah, we really appreciate it, Andrew. That was so much fun for us. But back to this. Lions, in my opinion, I think they have one of the better rosters. I know that their coordinator mess is there, but I think that this could be another one of those Ravens are trying to get back into the flow of things. So you go play a tough Buffalo opponent. You face a quote unquote cakewalk in a Cleveland Browns team week 2, and then you're faced with another top of the league opponent in a Detroit Lions. And I'm going to take another loss here. It sounds really rough to say. It's hard to say it. It's a Monday Night Football game. It's prime time. It's NFC. I mean, everything points me the opposite direction. I just think that there's games where it's become almost too predictable to go with a win early on. And now I think that this NFC team kind of has their get back. We blew them out. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2023. It was like 38-6 or something like that.
I can see it. I could see someone like Dan Campbell getting his team really fired up for a game like this and trying to upset a slow starting Ravens, in my opinion. Again, this is just what I'm going off of. I think that they start slow and get better, but I think that the Lions are a quality team, and if they were to be high power offensively, if the Ravens defense didn't start perfect against them, I think that they can run away with it. And it makes me look like a complete Ravens fan loser as I have them starting 1-2, dude. I can't
Yeah.
believe it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised because last year I was a lot more, I'd say, negative than you in the Ravens preview. I only had them losing one more game, but I think you had them rattling off a lot in a row. So yeah, this is a little bit different for me and Zach. We're sort of on opposite sides of where we normally are. So I have the Ravens at 3-0, Zach 1-2
Yeah,
through 3
opposite
weeks.
spectrums.
Yeah, and then week 4, you go to Kansas City. This is a 4:25 CBS game. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, for the first time since the loss to the Bills in the divisional round. Ravens will go to Kansas City, and I'm not gonna lie, Zach, like I do think the Chiefs are gonna be good this year. I don't understand this whole like, oh, Broncos are gonna win the division, Chargers are gonna win. Like, no,
Ooh.
no.
That's a different discussion.
The Chiefs are gonna be good again. I don't think they're gonna be 15-2,
Right.
but they're gonna be a good team again. The Ravens have yet to prove to me or anyone that they can beat the Chiefs. They beat them 4 years ago, one time. So obviously, I think they can win this game. They can win any game on this schedule, but I'm going to go with my first loss here
Wow.
to the Chiefs. They just have to prove it to me that they can beat them first.
Yeah, Prime's agreeing with you in the chat. He doesn't like saying this, but I'll give the Ravens their first loss at KC. And while I do see that as a possibility, just facing, such a daunting team again, first 4 weeks, we're looking at 3 ridiculously good teams. And the Chiefs, in my opinion, I'm just not as scared of them. I think that they have quality opponents in their division, such as the Chargers and the Broncos. I'm not sure that they can win the division. They'll have to show me this year. But I think that the 11 one-score games thing is not going to happen. You cut those in half maybe. And I think that in this scenario, I think that the Ravens can beat them. I think that they match up with them. And besides the fact that the Chiefs know how to play the Ravens, I think that the Ravens know how to play the Chiefs now. I think that they can figure it out. But we do have a comment here from Chris giving a membership to Andrew. Appreciate you guys. I think another one too. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's 1 or 2, but we appreciate you so much, Chris.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. That's awesome.
For the gifted membership.
Yeah, you guys can also be a part of it too. Chris gifting them. There should be a link in the description. If not, it'll be in the bios.
Somewhere it says join
yeah,
channel.
It'll be in the channels, in the channel descriptions. You can find it. You want to be a part of it for the whole season. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have exclusive stuff for you guys on there on YouTube. I think we can probably do some Twitter stuff as well. I think there's something with verification. So exclusive stuff everywhere. But yeah, we appreciate you guys being a part of it. But just to really wrap up what I was saying, Chiefs, right? I think that they are beatable this year. Guys on that team getting older. And I think that they have a lot more holes than usual, in my opinion. I don't think that they're one of the better rosters. And I think that, again, that 11 one-score stuff just can't happen again.
Yeah.
So I think the Ravens take this one. I actually have them winning a tough one on the road, kind of showing us that maybe they are here to stick around. I can't imagine the discourse if we were 1-2 heading to Arrowhead. I mean, golly, that would be tough, crapping our pants. But yeah, I think they win it though, 2-2 to start out through the first 4.
Yeah, I actually think this Chiefs team is a little better than last year, but because of the one-score games, like they're not going to win 15 games. But I do think they do have a better team. Josh Simmons has looked really good in camp. Their rookie left tackle that might have been a top 5 pick without the injury. Yeah, that is Valerie. That's sort of why I think the Ravens are going to beat the Lions on Monday night. If any AFC North team is taking them out, it's Joseph Burr. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, I have the Ravens losing to the Chiefs. So through week 4, Jang, new member. We appreciate it so much, Jang.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Jang.
So yeah, through 4 weeks, I'm at 3-1. You are at 2-2.
2-2. Getting better.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
And that leads us into week 5 and week 6. As everyone knows, Ravens bye week is week 7. Week 5's Texans, 1 p.m. in Baltimore. I'll start here, Zach. I mean, the Ravens have handled the Texans pretty well in the Lamar era.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to not think they're going to continue to do that. The Texans last year had, I think, the best defense in the league in terms of EPA per play, DVOA, when the Ravens played them on Christmas Day, not to rhyme so much, but they smoked them. And they couldn't tackle Derrick Henry. They couldn't tackle Lamar. They couldn't guard Likely. They couldn't guard Andrews. I think the Ravens are going to beat the Texans again. The Texans have a rough O-line this year, at least it looks like. And I think this one is sort of one of the other ones that I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't particularly close. As another new membership from Prime Trust, appreciate it so much, Prime Trust. Thank you, man. We are now going to move to Zach's prediction for the Texans Week 5 game.
Yeah, Week 5, I totally agree with you, dude. I mean, the Texans, we seem to just completely have their number in all regards. There's no real struggle in playing them. I think that they do have, pluses on the offense. If you want to compare them to a team, if Mixon is, healthy, I think that they are similar to a Lions team when they have a possible stud in Jaden Higgins that we got to cover earlier on, along with Nico Collins. And I don't know if Tank Dell is going to be back by then. It might be a later time.
No. He might not.
I don't think he's at it on Instagram. I didn't know.
I don't think he's going to play this year.
Okay, but he was definitely hinting at something or showing that he was in photos. I don't know, but still, I had to talk about it.
Yeah.
I think still the Texans though have their holes, and the Ravens just have their number. And I'd give this probably another solid win in the right direction for the Ravens, because if I have a starting 2-2 and you go play a Houston team at home, Houston's in a very really tough division. A win against the Ravens could propel them into taking that division, not even looking back. And I think, but I think the Ravens handle it.
Yeah, I agree. So now through 5 weeks, I have the Ravens at 4-1. You have 3-2, right?
Yes, sir. 3-2.
So now the final game before the bye week, Rams come into town. Another 1 p.m. game. This one's gonna be on Fox. I wouldn't be surprised if it's Burkhardt and Brady. Ravens will be taking on the Rams. We assume Stafford is going to be playing with the back. I mean, I think he's going to end up being fine. You got to have some losses, right? The Ravens are not going to beat everyone. And Matthew Stafford is a great player when he's healthy. The Ravens really struggled against Devontae Adams last year.
Yeah.
Some might forget he's on the Rams now.
Yeah.
Puka Nacua they've struggled against.
It's a lot of guys.
This is just a comment from Bruff. Brady's on the call. Lamar won't lose. Very possible. But I don't know. This is one of those games I kind of have a bad feeling about. And I can't predict the Ravens to go 17-0. So you got to have some losses in there. And this is one of those ones that I do not feel as great about as others. As Dawson Hess is now in the chat. What's up, Dawson?
And we got a comment from Andrew. You guys are great. Keep up the great content. Miss being able to connect with y'all. Thank you so much, Andrew, with the $5 donation. Thank you, man. Yeah, we're pumped to be getting into actual full season content. This is the first time it's smacking me in the face. Dawson in the chat. What's up, man? Andrew's saying, if we go 3-3 or 4-2 the first 6 weeks, I'll be elated. And I think that's what we have. You just predicted a loss.
4-2.
And I'm going to join you. I think that this Rams team is, again, offensive powerhouse that can really rattle the Ravens if they don't start extremely well. It being at home is, this was probably my most debated win or loss game, because I saw us as a 5-loss team, but I didn't know if this would be the catalyst in changing me from a 5 to a 4. That might be a hint at it later, but I guess this is another loss for me. I'm 3-3 right now for the Ravens. I just think that it's always been rough beginnings for the Ravens. And I think that there's a lot of what's a good way to put this? there's weird vibes going on, I think, with the defense and the offense. Offense usually starts a little slower, but I think that the
Yeah.
defense is also something that is completely gone under the radar. I think there's opportunities for offensive firepower teams, which is arguably 5 of these first 6, that they can put up good numbers against us if they were to play a team in the Ravens that doesn't have a set defense, a good-looking defense. I think especially last year, you've had really struggles up until the halfway mark. I don't think it was the bye week that fixed it, but really just the halfway mark in general where the defense turned it around. And that could be the case this time, where they win later on and start a little rough. Here's a total prediction for our first 6 weeks. I'm 3-3, Brad's 4-2, but we both have a tough loss at home against the Rams week 6.
Yeah. It's definitely interesting. I like what you said, Zach, about the Ravens offense sometimes starting slow, because I mean, it does kind of feel like that happens. Week 1, they still might put up 20, 24 points, but it always doesn't look right. And I mean, I guess that's normal. You look at Zach Taylor and the Bengals, playing their starters in the preseason a lot. I mean, not a lot this year. Trying to get rid of sort of those slow starts. I obviously would rather the Ravens we all agree, I think, guys, we would rather have a week 1 loss than someone get injured in a preseason game again. So it's fine with me. But yeah, so through 6 weeks, Zach, you're at 3-3, and I am at 4-2. Ravens have a early bye week this year, week 7. I guess we can talk about that a little bit. What are your thoughts on a bye week in mid-October?
Some teams have just got to have it. I feel like as of late, the last few years, the Ravens have been blessed with a late bye just in general. And this being a week 7 one feels about as early as I can remember in the past few years. So I'm concerned about it, because usually we would lean on those early buys to get a little healthy because of, late season little dinks and injuries. But now it might be an early opportunity to propel. So in my case, if I'm a 3-3 team, I think that an early bye week corrects all those wrongs and you could go on a run after that. For your case, if you're 4-2 and you go on a bye, I think that it only helps to see anything that has been going wrong in that early section. So if there is any early injury concerns, then maybe that gets solved and the whole team can be healthy and fully together by hopefully week 8. So I don't mind it. Is that real? The Steelers have a week 5 bye?
I think it is.
That's real? Week 5? Holy crap.
That is hilarious.
That is insane.
Another sort of little inkling that goes into this week 7 bye, the Isaiah Likely injury.
Yeah.
I mean, we would like for him to be playing week 4, week 5, who knows? But even if he does play before the bye week, this gives him an extra week to sort of rejuvenate that injury and, make sure he can be healthy for, the rest of the season, that foot injury. So I think that's another thing. And like you said, any other injuries that could be going on at the time. Last year with the late bye, Travis Jones was playing at 40% all year. And after that bye week, he was able to really, get healthy. So it's really important. I would much rather have the later bye and kind of a gearing up for January in the playoff situation. But it is what it is. And I mean, it's better than a week 5 bye. So
that's true. Yeah, we got to be a little thankful. Dang, I didn't even know they did before week 6.
I kind of thought the first one was week 6, but
gosh, week 5.
Going into the middle third of the season, I guess you could say, now that there's an odd number of games.
Yeah.
Ravens take on the Bears 1 p.m. in Baltimore. So excluding the bye week, this is 3 1 p.m. games in Baltimore in a row. This one will be Caleb Williams, Ben Johnson coming into town. Similarly, with the Lions, Jared Goff's a good quarterback. I'm picking the Ravens because I'm not scared of Jared Goff. Week 8 against the Bears, Caleb Williams has to prove it to me before I'm going to pick the Ravens to lose to them. combined with the fact that it's a new coach, all that stuff. So I think this is one of the easier picks. I will go with the Ravens here, and that puts
Wow.
them at 5-2 for me.
I guess I can agree with you about it being one of the easier picks. I guess. Like I guess I didn't think about that. The Bears in this situation, I don't think they've played Lamar. Whenever they played back in
Yeah, it was
2021,
Huntley.
yeah, I was there. I was there, and I was all psyched up to watch Lamar, and he got either sick or something, or maybe he had a nagging injury. I forgot. But before he got ruled out, and I had to watch Tyler Huntley play hero ball. Sammy
The Ravens
Watkins,
won.
yeah, and they won. But in this case, I think that has to be a major factor in this. Not playing Lamar as an NFC team, that tends to kill them. So I'm gonna say that Ravens take this one. I agree with you pretty handsomely.
That's a really good point. I did not think about that. Yeah, I think you're right that the Bears have never played Lamar. Those are tough. So, I mean, it's the whole reason why he
Ooh,
has,
I like that narrative
yeah,
too.
yeah,
Roquan
prime
against his
trust
old team,
Roquan
bro.
against his old team.
Yeah.
So it's a whole conversation of why Lamar has, one or two losses against NFC teams in his career. It's because they don't face him very often. So that's another example. Okay. 5-2 for me, 4-3 for you.
Yes.
Week 9. This is a little PTSD game, if you will,
Yeah.
Zach.
Yeah.
Week 9, October 30th, down in Miami, Thursday night football. If anyone remembers, it was 2021 that it was I can't remember the last time the Ravens offense looked that bad
Oof.
with a starting quarterback.
Oof.
And back in 2021 against the Dolphins, that was rough. I think it's going to be different this year. I mean, I just don't really believe in the Dolphins this year. I mean, I think they're sort of at the end of this era that they're in, and they might already be falling off by this point. It's going to be, a home game, not a home game, but a hometown game for half of the Ravens roster. So I don't know. I think this one will be good vibes, and I think I could see them winning this one easily. I also could see them, maybe struggling a little bit because it's a Thursday game. I feel like Thursday night games low key can be the great equalizer. So maybe this one is a little bit closer, but I'm still gonna have the Ravens getting the win here.
Yeah, there's always a game, I think, for the Ravens in a primetime setting that they tend to play someone that is on the heels of making or breaking their season. And in this case, the Ravens tend to break that team. I think that this is that opportunity. I think this is that kind of atmosphere. Maybe the Dolphins are what 3-4, four. I don't.
4-5,
Yeah,
5-4.
something like that, where they're about to show that they can beat a caliber team to the Ravens, and the Ravens just kind of smack them in the mouth. Like you said, it's kind of a hometown game for them, homecoming game. But yeah, this game has so much PTSD. Are you kidding me? The Dolphins, the freaking comeback game, the Lamar blowout, but then Flacco getting hurt. There's so much.
Yeah,
to the
that was
Dolphins.
Thursday night too.
Yes,
the Flacco concussion.
It's insane how much there is to all of the Dolphins. But I have to agree with you. I think that really the only thing that the Dolphins have is a star caliber offense. And I think that's the only way that could keep up in this game. But I have the Ravens winning.
Thursday night in Miami may be a curse. If it is, we'll figure it out this year. I will say, though, the Flacco concussion game, I believe the Ravens blew them out. I think CJ Mosley had like a 65-yard pick six in that game. But still, I mean, your starting quarterback went down with a head injury. So, yeah, record reset here. I think I'm 6-2?
I'm 5-3, I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
So now, week 10, second away game, in a row. Going to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Zach, I'll let you start it with this one.
So this is difficult. I love talking about the Vikings because I want to believe that JJ McCarthy is a starting caliber quarterback that can lead them to the playoffs. I think that on the other side, Harbaugh tends to really mess with QBs in their first/second year. And get into their heads in a first matchup against the Ravens. So while it's not a early matchup with that team, so maybe he has some time under his belt, I still think that the Ravens can mess with McCarthy enough to win a game like this, even though it is possibly the most difficult away setting that we'll have this year. I think that the Vikings have always had an incredible home atmosphere. So it'll be a great test mid-year, but it's the second game in a 3-game road stretch. I think each of these games are must-win to show that we can put together a string of games in total. I think I have a couple wins in a row here after a rough start post-bye, as the kind of Harbaugh thing to do. But I think that I think this is a win. It's a tough game. I think Minnesota will play us close, but I love a win here for the Ravens.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I am going to go with a loss here in Minnesota. We just talked about the Thursday night Miami game. Brian Flores was calling the defense for Miami that day. And if anyone didn't know, he is their current defensive coordinator. He has confused the hell out of quarterbacks. I think last year was his first year as DC there, maybe second.
I think it was first. I think.
So I could just see the Ravens kind of struggling, coming off maybe 2 easy wins in a row.
Sure.
1 p.m. game in Minnesota. Like you said, that maybe one of the loudest stadiums in the country.
Crazy.
I could see this one being a game where like Ravens offense looks a little shaky all game. We have a therapy session after it, trying to discuss what's wrong with the Ravens offense. And I will have them falling to 6-3 here.
Now
so are we?
I think we're the same. Yeah, we're both 6-3 now. Yeah. So for a week 11 matchup, we're replaying the Browns, this time in Cleveland. I don't think this one, again, needs a lot of discussion. I think that the Browns are probably defeated at this point. Not to be really mean or anything, but I just think that they are a lost team right now. They've probably gone through 2 or 3 quarterbacks at this point, and I think that the Ravens can mess with whoever they play. It's just it's a team that you're supposed to put away. If it were to be a loss with your Vikings, I think they crush the Browns.
Yeah.
And I think if it's just a win against the Vikings, like I said, I think that just means that you're supposed to go in there and do your job. You're supposed to win this game. But that also makes me feel like that could be a sneaky loss. Week 11 could be a sneaky one in Cleveland where we just don't get it done. So maybe circle this one as a little rare week here for the Ravens.
What's up, Don C? Appreciate you,
Don.
Thanks so much for being here. Yeah, Zach, I could sort of see what you're saying. Like if I'm wrong about the Vikings and they're kind of on a win streak, this could sort of be a trap game against the Browns.
Sure.
And Cleveland week 11. Interesting. 4:25 p.m. kickoff against the Browns is definitely interesting. Yeah, I mean, this might be
Prime agreeing with us in the chat here. A little trap game in Cleveland. Oof. Woo.
This could be one of those games that's just not very close. It could be Dylan Gabriel. It could be Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
I hope for my football watching pleasure for the rest of the season, it's not Kenny Pickett, but we will see. I'm going to go with a win there. You're going to go with a win there. I'm struggling to remember our records here, but we're going to update it after this week anyway.
7-3 each, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. Week 12 in Baltimore against the Jets. Aaron Glenn, Justin Fields, who can be a little scary for sure.
Yeah.
Garrett Wilson has been extended. Breece Hall. Definitely some, firepower on that offense, I guess you could say. Maybe not a consistent offense, but a dangerous offense. I think you could describe it as. But I think this is another one. I mean, I didn't really think about this one. Very nice to not have to play on the MetLife turf. I was very pleased to see versus next to the Jets name, not at. Honestly, that's probably my number one thought coming out of this game is it's in Baltimore, not in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
Yeah, that's incredibly valid. I did not think about that. But I do think that the Jets are like they could be a sneaky wild card team if they really put it together. I'm just not a Justin Fields truther, I guess, for a whole season's worth
Yeah.
of Justin Fields. No disrespect to him, it just feels like we're playing a lesser version of Lamar, and I think that the team can be prepared for something like that. So, I think this is again a handsome one. Yeah, Andrew with a little Brandon Stevens revenge game here for the Jets. I like that note. Prime guessing that we're going to win by 14 plus against the Jets. Yeah, that makes me want to go to that. That makes me want to go.
Yeah. Okay. So Zach, let's get a update here of sort of what we're looking at. This is the middle third of the schedule. As you see, guys, only one loss for the two of us combined here.
Yeah,
definitely the easiest part of the schedule, Zach.
Yeah, I agree. And the crazy part about that being 3 road games in a row, week 9 through 11, I have us pulling off probably the most difficult game as a win here at Vikings. You had it as a loss.
Yeah.
But I think that we were all kind of on the same page that week 11 could be a potential trap game. And if it maybe even if we were to, hit all of those first 4, Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets again could be something like that, a potential trap kind of game. You're feeling good, won a few games in a row, post-bye, play a Jets team at home, thinking that you can let off the gas pedal. I think that's a possible game that you could lose. This whole middle of the schedule here is not necessarily difficult, but it's difficult mentally. If you don't have that late bye that you could look forward to, that we're used to getting around the end of that week 12, week 11 range.
Yeah.
Now you have to have the mentals from week 8 until week 18 to be fully locked in and winning some tough games against just tough opponents. It's not like they're all freaking cakewalks, but they're all, competent teams. But it brings us into week 13, which is one of my favorite looking games on the schedule. It is Thursday night against the Bengals. Prime time with the Bengals has been an automatic at Ravens game. That's one. And it's also been a pretty automatic Ravens win. I'm going to go with the Ravens winning this one. But again, it could be one of those Hollywood big time stories where it's a shootout. I hope that the defense will be honestly far more ready than in past years against a Bengals team, especially this late. You would think that they can have what works for them and get that by the end of the year, because last year, I don't remember if it was really early on both matchups were, but if both of those games are rough, as in a Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow are going to have their way, we got to keep up with them and eventually outshoot them. We have to do that twice in 3 weeks here. Week 13 and then a Steelers game, and then week 15 is at Bengals. But this one being prime time, I'm taking the Ravens.
Yeah, real quick, a great comment from Andrew. I believe this was from Warren Sharp that talked about it. The Ravens have been pretty poor in one-score games the past couple years. So, we talked about the trap games, maybe a close game against the Jets, Dolphins, Browns. Definitely need to start winning those games. But, I like what you said about, Bengals, Thanksgiving in Baltimore. Yeah. I mean, besides the Bills game, of course, this is probably the second most exciting one. We were, I'll be fair. Ravens and Steelers fans were both robbed of a Thanksgiving game in 2020 due to COVID. That was going to be a really fun one. So we're able to get this one back here. It's going to be fun that week, talking about some old, Thanksgiving memories, Jacoby Jones, Mike Tomlin on the field, those sorts of things. About the Bengals, I will say, Zach, you mentioned this a little bit. Like, the 2 games that the Ravens played them last year, yes, they were both extremely high scoring. The Ravens had not made that defensive shift yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Eddie Jackson and Marcus Williams back there for both games against the Bengals last year. And I do think the Ravens defense should perform better against them, especially this one. Like, this might be an all-black Thanksgiving. Like,
ooh,
they're just like not gonna lose. And Bengals fans were really mad about having to play the Ravens primetime again in Baltimore. And like I slightly understand
They're
because
mad.
the Ravens don't lose home primetime games.
Yeah.
So I got a win for this one, as well as Chris has popped back into the chat. Welcome back. I have
I
the
love it.
Ravens
Sorry.
moving to
An-
9-3.
yes. Andrew's comment here about Higgins just probably missing one of the matchups. I mean, sure, that could definitely happen. But I totally agree with you. This is an opportunity to just show them still who's at the top of the division, especially if they're in a situation like I mentioned previously with the Dolphins, maybe a make or break type of game to hopefully get into the playoff picture. And yeah, Nate is in the same page. Who they think will beat the Ravens? Yeah, but I would love a little blackout Thanksgiving and that'd be fun.
Yeah, honestly, if we're predicting a blackout here, it's either gonna be so they have 2 home primetime games, Lions and Bengals Thanksgiving. So one's gonna be the Purple Rising, one will be the blackout. So we'll
I think
see.
they'd keep the vibes then, a blackout with the Lions and then Purple Rising with the Bengals. Just given, last year and all.
Yeah,
Hopefully
yeah.
keeping that same good juju going on.
Andrew took his fiance to the Bills Week 4 game. That was an
That's
amazing
awesome.
game.
I was
You were
there.
there. Yeah.
It was amazing. My first ever home game for the Ravens. It was incredible.
Yeah. You know what would be interesting, Zach, as we see this comment from Nate? Sometime, maybe before the season starts, we should do a quick segment on ranking the uniforms. I think that
We
would
should
be
do that. That would be fun.
fun.
We'll have to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Take it away for Week 14, Zach.
Week 14 is at home against the Steelers. It's going to be the first time we see them. And if you want to talk about potentially having injuries, I think the Steelers are they're getting up there in age. They have a few older guys that could be banged up at this point in the season. And I think that it's a great opportunity to beat up on a division opponent. Lately, it just seems like the Steelers don't have an answer for the Ravens offense whatsoever. And I think that we can continue that as we like to think this is the time of year that everyone starts saying, yeah, Derrick Henry just gets better as the year goes on. He becomes more scary as the season progresses. This would be a good example of that. I think hopefully Derrick Henry starts smashing them and we get a big win against a division opponent 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I agree with you. The Steelers defense, obviously, they played 3 times last year. Excuse me. The Steelers defense had no answer for the Ravens offense in the final 2 games that they played last year. And who knows how well Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing at this point. Yeah, the comment from Nate basically saying the same sentiment.
What happens if Rodgers goes out again? Do we just get free wins against Pittsburgh?
Andrew's comment.
Steelers signed Devin Leary then. Yeah, sure. They have Mason Rudolph and Will Howard now. They drafted Will Howard.
Yeah.
I think I actually saw someone predict that they would give Will Howard a shot by the end of the year if Rodgers just wasn't working out. I could totally see that. Maybe we play a Will Howard by week 14. Maybe the Steelers are in some serious trouble. Maybe.
Oh man, that would be funny.
That'd be crazy.
Also, another note is this is after a Thursday night game, so it's 10 days off for the Ravens. So, one of those things that Warren Sharp talks about, Zach, is rest advantage. I think he calls it. This will be one of those games where the Ravens have a rest advantage over the Steelers because of the Thursday night game before. So that's just another thing to note.
Nice.
I think a win here. So
sure.
Going into week 15, playing the Bengals again in Cincinnati at 1 p.m.
I feel like you should definitely start us off here.
I have a loss. I just think, I don't know, playing the Bengals twice in 3 weeks. I mean, we have no idea. We talked about this in the AFC North preview, Zach. The Bengals are but they could be 6-11, they could be 12-5. Like, I'm not even trying to exaggerate. Like,
Sure.
we don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm just sort of, walking that line here. And I'm going to say the Ravens are going to split against the Bengals. I obviously have them winning the home primetime Thanksgiving game and losing the away 1 o'clock game. I don't think much analysis goes into it. Maybe just this is when Joe Burrow has 370 yards. Maybe Marlin's out with a hamstring, something like that.
Ooh, yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I could definitely see that. And sadly, I agree with you. Prime also agrees with us in the chat. A loss here in week 15 at Bengals. I just kind of think they would be due at this point to steal one from us.
Yeah.
And it feels like Lamar's been killing them for a very long time. I think what you said about maybe a Marlon being banged up, maybe a Jair at this point is a little banged up. Someone that would be crucial to our success in this game being out, and we drop this one. But I think that makes
10-4.
10-4. Are we both 10-4?
I think we both are 10-4.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, still a late loss here in week 15.
Yeah, and a comment from Young Boy a little bit earlier, how the Steelers defense had held the Bengals to 19 points late in the year. We'll definitely see if we'll see this year if it's a Ravens problem or if the Bengals offense is just insane against everyone.
Yeah.
Week 16 versus the Patriots in Baltimore, 1 p.m. CBS. Patriots are definitely an interesting team this year.
Yeah.
I am dying, Zach, for another AFC East team to be competent, to compete with the Bills. We'll see if it's the Patriots this year. I don't think they're much of a match for the Ravens. However, that defense, looking at the Patriots depth chart, it looks really good, and it could be really good if Travion Henderson works out, if, Kyle Williams, Demario Douglas, if those guys work out, Stephon Diggs. Patriots could be a good team this year. Maybe like the 2025 Commanders, if you will. But rookie quarterback, I don't know. I think this is a pretty easy decision to say the Ravens win this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you, but I sure love the headlines of this. I think Lamar versus Drake May. A lot of people are really high on May. I hope that I'm with you. I hope that he's giving the Bills a little run for their money.
Yeah.
Especially with how Travion Henderson's looking so far. And Vrabel game planning against Derrick Henry would be cinema. Andrew giving Patriots a little sleeper recognition for the AFC East. I love the headlines and the storylines for this game. I just think that it does dim down to the common denominator, like you mentioned. It's a rookie, or not rookie, a young QB.
Yeah,
and a spotty kind of team that still has holes that the Ravens could take advantage of. And I think they win this one.
Agreed. So we're both now at 11-4.
Yes.
Through 16 weeks. Definitely going to be a stressful position here. Maybe fighting for a 1 seed, maybe fighting for a 2 seed. Week 17, Zach, I don't think it's crazy to say this is one of the most exciting games of the year.
I think so.
Week 17 at Green Bay. I don't think Lamar has played the Packers at all, let alone gone to Lambeau. So that'll be sort of a new sight. I also don't think it's crazy to say this is, by the way, guys, this is a TBD game. I don't think it's crazy to say this is going to be a Saturday nighter.
Yep. Completely agree. 100%.
So, I mean, I think I'd almost bet on that happening, this game being on a Saturday, whether it's 4:30 or 8:30, whatever. I've only ever been to M&T Bank Stadium, but just based off vibes and how it looks on TV, Lambeau's probably my second favorite stadium. Just really cool place. Jair Alexander revenge game. I'm not a lot of revenge games for the Ravens this year, and this will be a tough game. I think the Packers have like the most B+ team you could ever have in the existence, the history of the universe, whatever. Like they have like almost no stars, but like they're so solid everywhere. I mean, they competed with the Eagles in the wild card. Everyone talks about how the Rams competed with the Eagles in the divisional. The Packers also played much better than the Commanders or the Chiefs did against the Eagles. So definitely will be a tough out, but I do think the Ravens are able to win this one.
Yeah, and I'm very this is one of those games that I was staring at for a long time. It was the Rams for me and it was the Packers, and I wanted them to split it. I give the Ravens a win here in Lambeau, given Lamar playing an NFC team he doesn't usually play. It's a couple of storylines that we'd like to push towards that tend to work out in the Ravens' favor. And I do think though that this and next week 18 in Pittsburgh, might be a win or loss in either one. No, I said that wrong. One of them will be a loss. Week 17, if you were to lose that, I think that you try hard for week 18, possibly to win the division. I think if week 17 comes around, you beat the Packers, probably in a Saturday night game, then that means week 18, you can rest some guys, and we're possibly going into the playoffs a little more rested as well. So I think that week 17, though, I'm going to give the Packers. We're going to beat the Packers, and I think that I feel confident about that. Like, I think it's kind of like how I felt about the Bears. It's like,
Yeah,
in a way, it's kind of a confidence pick because it is an NFC team that hasn't seen Lamar in a long, and I feel
ever.
pretty good about that. Yeah, right. It's a I think someone was saying we haven't played Green Bay in years. Didn't Huntley play against them
Yeah,
that same
Huntley
year?
played it amazing,
Yeah,
and
it was a great game. They
the
lost though,
Ravens
right?
still lost. Yeah,
Yeah,
2 point
yeah,
yeah, that was the 2 point conversion year.
yeah.
So yeah, so yeah, this will be sort of a point where so I have the Ravens at 12-4 going into the
Yes.
final game. Like the Bills' schedule is so easy that they might not be in contention for the 1 seed if they're 12-4 at this point. Like it just might not be.
True. That's what I feel.
Um, yeah. So, but maybe they are, and maybe they win more games than we're predicting.
And Prime's agreeing with you.
Yeah, yeah. Like maybe week 18 will be like Ravens need to win and the Bills need to lose to the Jets or something. Like it's gonna I could
Yeah,
see that sort of
I
being
can
a
see that.
situation, which probably wouldn't happen anyway. Um, but we'll see. So going into week 18 against the Steelers, I'm gonna have the Ravens winning. I think it could be a scenario where maybe Ravens are trying to get the 2 seed, which is much, much more valuable than the 3 seed. Um, I'm gonna have them winning this one. I think Steelers might be trying to get into the playoffs. I mean, they're always going to be 9-8, 10-7, but I'm going to have the Ravens winning this one and finishing the year 13-4. What do you have, Zach?
Yeah, I'm gonna chalk week 18 to a loss, thinking that we would be locked into a 2 seed, hopefully. And given that I did predict we beat the Chiefs, which could give us a chance there. So I think, given just a couple of the picks, it made the most sense that we would just accept it now. Maybe Cooper Rush gets the start in this, and we get a little bit more rest for the guys. But it does make it so my win-loss total is 12-5. Like,
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised by that. I was expecting a 13-4, but I just think there's a couple of games that the Ravens, in recent memory, have been dropping in early settings, and have, in this case, I thought it was, if I give them a week 18 L, then sure, 13-4 and 12-5, I'd say are the most predictable for the Ravens this
Yeah.
season. But I'd say that I feel good about this. 12-5 sounds good to me. I'd be pumped.
Yeah, and there's a good comment from Young Boy. I've mentioned how easy the Bills' schedule looks, and so many things can change. It's a good comment. Like the Bills' schedule could look a lot harder. Maybe the Patriots are 5-1, and Drake May looks like he's really, really good. Like that could be
Yeah.
the case as well. So maybe they still could be in contention for a 1 seed. Who knows? So yeah, Zach, I have the Ravens finishing 13-4. You have 12-5. The opposite last year, I had 12-5. You had 13-4.
That's awesome.
I was correct last year. Hopefully,
Yeah.
I'm correct again.
I
And they
agree.
finish 13-4, maybe even a little better. Let's put up our final predictions here, just so
I
everyone
wanted
can
to
sort of.
I wanted to
Yeah,
mention
go
what you
ahead.
guys were talking about with the Patriots. I think someone said that they also, if it is the AFC East, they're going to have an easier schedule this year, and I think it could be similar to what we felt against the Broncos. We knew that they would be a quality opponent later in the season, but we ended up smacking them around. So I think that could be a possible comparison where we play someone that looks really good and might be an opponent in the playoffs, given how easy of a schedule they have. But I think that that could be a big confidence game for the Ravens. That especially that late week 16, that's big time.
Yeah. Yeah, and last year, Zach, all 3 of us had the Bills going, like, 10-7. So, like, yeah, and they obviously had a really good year, so, like, so much can change, like, it can be the opposite this year. Comment from Andrew of the Bills have too much drama, like, definitely possible, and this is turning into a Bills podcast right now, but, like, if I pull up their schedule, and we're just talking about guys, like, fighting for the 1 seed, right? Like, they do start off against the Ravens who, like I mean, Zach, I kinda forgot to mention this stupidly of me. The Bills game and the Chiefs game are so much more important than, like, 1-0 or 0-1 that week. Because like, that's a number 1 seed tiebreaker. So, like,
Sure, yeah.
if the Ravens beat the Bills week 1 and they both finish 13-4, the Ravens get the 1 seed. If the Bills win that game, vice versa. Same with the Chiefs game. So, I wanted to pull this up, Zach, just while I talked about this, because you look at last year and sort of what happened. Week 1, week 2, losing to the Chiefs, losing to the Raiders week 2. Like, these games matter. And I know we talked about this, Zach, like, right after we lost to the Bills in the divisional round, we were like, does the regular season even matter anymore? But, like, it does because, I mean, maybe the Ravens still lose. Maybe they still have 3 dumb turnovers. But, like, 10 degrees warmer in Baltimore with no snow, I would feel a lot better about that. And if they would have beat the Raiders and the Browns,
Yeah,
that could have been the case. So,
yeah,
I was
100%.
wondering if you have sort of any thoughts about, like, maybe the importance of these early games, especially in the regular season.
And it's kind of ridiculous last year had turned out like that. The Raiders and Browns being such pivotal losses, with them having to do with not only seating, but also because of like stuff as basic as not picking up right in your breadbasket interceptions or missing kicks. It was so many, like, you're kicking yourself almost. We would talk about that so much. And thankfully, I think this team is a little more in sync. If there was a year that we're going to start hot and stay hot, I think it would be this year. I just think that in recent memory, not having the perfect start is kind of the go-to with the Ravens. So, um, if you look at my prediction, and we've been talking about it the whole time, it hasn't been perfect in the beginning, and I think in giving a week 7 bye is also kind of nice. But
Mhm.
I think that this would be our pivotal stretch for sure. You have us taking those first 3 games, which I would be pumped to see. I just
Yeah.
think that it's a lot more Ravens like that we drop probably one of them. You honestly convinced me week 3 is probably a win because it is an NFC opponent and it is at home and it is prime time. So
Mhm.
all signs point to a win, but I think that just I guess my scars of being a fan in the Ravens early on, I see it as potential losses that you would have to play your A game. And I think that you can see here week 8 through 14, I have wins. The Ravens, I think,
Yeah.
tend to go on stretches like that.
Mhm.
And they do tend to drop, one randomly in the middle. In that case, I have the Bengals. But I definitely I like the schedule. I think it's a good test up front and kind of not winding down by any means. I'm trying to find a good way to put this. It's still quality teams in between, um, just good games everywhere in the back end. Whenever we saw like this schedule come out, we were so blown away by the beginning that the back half and how perfectly it's gonna. I gotta find a right way to put this. Like middle of the road slash upper echelon of the NFL it all is, besides
Yeah.
maybe the Browns and maybe the Jets. But all of those teams could possibly be in the average to upper echelon of the NFL when we play them in that back half. So it'll be great tests, I think, throughout the year. And I think that I would happily bet on 12-5 or 13-4, no matter what.
Yeah, I like what you said, and it's like after the bye, Zach, after week 4, are the Ravens going to be favored in every game? Like,
Probably.
maybe if the Packers have a really, really good year, maybe not in Lambeau.
Maybe the Vikings too, if they were hot, really,
Yeah,
really hot
yeah,
too. Not
but
Vikings, maybe.
yeah, but I like what you said because when the schedule came out, we were so concerned about the first 6 games.
Yeah,
We didn't think about how, like, especially the middle of that schedule is not too tough. I
right.
do think, like, the end, like, going Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, that's tough, whether they're good
Yeah.
teams or not. And then obviously Lambeau, um, at the end of the year is gonna be tough. I mean, it's gonna be freezing. Um, but yeah, man, I like where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
Comment from Nate, JPA football posting Taylor Swift NFL journalism is dead.
I'm gonna go watch that podcast. I'm not gonna lie. I want to watch that. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I mean, you're gonna be bombarded with some Taylor Swift stuff for the next week.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Any final thoughts, Zach? Like looking at the schedule, thinking about the record, playoff positioning.
See, this is the first time that I've ever been really trying to tone down the expectations, I guess, maybe. Comment from Jake, 12-5, really, Zach? Yeah. I'm usually on the 13-4 plus side. I think the last couple of years I have been. I just think that there's been early year concerns, and until the Ravens prove me otherwise, I'm gonna keep leaning on that. And again, there's always a couple of those losses that we were talking about in total for a prediction where we say, oh, this would be a hopeful cakewalk for the Ravens, or this is a get back game, and they drop it because that is the Ravens the last couple of years. So 12-5 was my estimation. I think their win-loss is 11.5, maybe.
I think so.
So even then, we're kind of getting that number just in general. I do think that they tend to smash that number, but
Yeah.
it is just bearing maybe a key injury or something.
I like this comment from Makai. Do you think the team realizes how we could have been in a better situation last year if we won those games and put an emphasis on having hot start and not playing down to our opponent? I think so. Like, Marlon Humphrey is very, very honest in his interviews and post-game pressers. And I think at least him, you can definitely see that awareness from him. And I mean, if one player knows it, everyone knows it.
Yeah.
So Makai, I would say yes to your question, but I think last year was the first year that they realized it. Like, I think it took a few years of it happening for them to be like, okay, like,
happening.
yeah, like this can't
totally agree.
like, yeah, like this is us now. This isn't a 1-year fluke, a 2-year fluke, a 3-year fluke. So yeah,
but that's I guess what I would see in my prediction. I think I just went with that again until they prove me otherwise.
Yeah,
I want them to, and I think they will prioritize that. Like Makai is saying, I think that hopefully the front office and the coaches are really banging this into the guys to make sure that they can start hot, because like you said, it goes all the way back to playoff positioning. These are crucial wins against these teams, and I think that plus playing some quality NFC teams this year make it just a great schedule. It's such a great schedule. It's such a good.
Yeah. And I mean, I do like what you said, because 12-5 would be the prediction if you are assuming they're going to have a similar year to last year, right? Like that is what you would predict, maybe even 11-6 because of how tough the beginning is. So like that's what you are doing. I'm saying 13-4 just because I don't know. I think it's part of it is because you see that Lions game and you're like, Lamar, Monday Night Football, NFC team, like, I don't know. And they do play well against good teams. So I think that stretch could end up being better than we think. But maybe they lose one of those middle of the schedule games, Zach, that none of us had them losing. I
Mhm.
mean, last year, there's no way one of us in the Raiders or Browns game was like, oh, I don't know. So, one of those surprise games we could see. And like, that's what we're hoping for them to prove us wrong and get the 1 seed. I mean, we had this whole talk past couple of years, like, oh, we don't care about the 1 seed anymore. Like, after last year, it's definitely better to come on,
Yeah.
like playing in the snow, like in Buffalo, it's definitely better to have the 1 seed, curse or no curse. So, win as many games in the regular season as you can. Yeah, Buffalo and KC are
Must-win games.
absolutely
Oof.
massive. Like, I mean, this probably would never happen, but like 2-2 wins at Buffalo and KC, losses in Cleveland to Detroit. I mean, you would take that
I
easily.
would
You would take
happily
that
take that. Happily take
because
that.
that
I'd be
gives you
so
both
pumped.
tiebreakers.
Yeah.
So
Because we can fix it as it goes on. Like, I think both of us had great records past the bye. So no matter what, I think we would get it going again. But yeah, I guess my 12-5 was, I don't know, maybe a little realistic, maybe too
I mean,
non-homer of me. Maybe I got
I
a few comments upset about it.
when you sent me your predictions, I mean, I was surprised because
Mhm.
of who it came from. I was not surprised to see 12-5 for Ravens record prediction. I was surprised to see 12-5 from Zach.
Yeah, for
So,
me.
I mean, I predicted 12-5 last year. I think the Ravens roster is a little better than last year, so that's sort of,
Sure.
why I went one game up. But we'll see. Obviously we could talk about this forever, but like
Yeah, we
any final thoughts? I mean, we said that 15 minutes ago and we went on a tangent, but
I want him to start hot. Um, I think I would just summarize it to beat the teams you need to for playoff positioning. Set yourself up for the postseason so it can be as relaxing as possible. The narratives in general for the offseason and really what they will be for the entire regular season are, can the Ravens get to the Super Bowl? This is probably the most uh, set they are for a Super Bowl run. I think
mhm.
that we've talked about it even in the previews and Q&As that the team also has only gotten better. And this roster is possibly the best we've seen yet on paper. So I think that you have to relieve as much pressure as you can before you get to the postseason to make it easier on your guys. They're going to feel this pressure all season. And when it gets to the postseason, what getting there is not the problem for this team. It's actually doing something when you're there, showing that you're the same team. So I think that they're gonna have to put some emphasis on different games and different ways that they're not used to, starting as hot as possible. If it means that we have a really hot start and drop a couple of those mid-range games that we were so confident about wins, we have to live with that because we've put so much focus into those first few weeks. I'm okay with that. I think all of us would be okay with that. But I think that this roster is definitely capable of like you said, being 13-4 and plus. I think mine is just a little timid on that fact. Maybe there's some rough spots in the beginning and maybe some injuries that might plague us later on. But either way, I even what Nate's saying here in the comments, I don't think we can lose the division. And I think that unless the Cincinnati were to really show out and become this offensive powerhouse that is genuinely winning games, then it seems like as long as the Ravens do their job this season, they will win the division. It's just setting themselves up for later success than usual in the postseason.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, the Bengals is like the topic of everything. The Bengals defense looked awful. Their starting defense looked awful against the Eagles backups last week. So
Yeah.
that's just another thing to think about. We'll see if Trey Hendrickson plays. We could talk forever. I'm gonna go ahead and shout out. We have a lot of shout outs to give tonight,
Heck yeah.
Zach.
Heck yeah.
Yesterday we had 0 memberships. We have what,
You guys
5
killed
now?
that. Smashed it.
Chris, Jang, Prime Trust, Andrew, Don C.
Yes.
Thanks for the donations. And to everyone else in the chat tonight, Valerie, Dawson Hess, Makai, Young Boy, Nate, thanks so much for being here, guys. It was very, very refreshing to not talk about Daniel Falele and, backup defensive linemen, sixth round picks getting injured.
The basics.
Yeah. So, I mean, we definitely should talk about all this stuff again. Maybe like a season. No, not that stuff, but like a season preview before the season starts, I think would be fun to sort of have more of this conversation with you guys. Because it's been really fun tonight. In terms of sort of the fun episodes, going to the season, we will also, by the way, we had a AFC North preview. If anyone didn't catch that, go back and check it out. Zach's brother was in there with us.
Yeah, gave us some good takes in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had an AFC North preview. We had this. We're going to have
I could pull it up if you want.
We're gonna be predicting every division, playoff picture, Super Bowl, all that stuff. That's gonna be, I think, in a week or two. And then another fun video we're gonna do is predicting, MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and then the same thing for Ravens MVP, or whatever, along with the continuous Daniel Falele conversation. So yeah, we appreciate you guys so much. 15 people in here right now. Please go like the video. It helps us out a ton.
Subscribe. Become a member.
Yeah. Become a member of the channel.
Yeah.
Become a member of the channel. Interesting comment from Andrew there. Do you guys have journalism communication backgrounds? I was a student at Virginia Tech and majored in sports media. Just graduated. I'd say both of us would love to work in sports, Zach.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. So Zach and I both, we've recently graduated from college, sort of getting into real life jobs, but we would love to do this. So, another reason, the more support, the better for us. And yeah, guys, we will see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Peace out.
Peace.